must recognize that there's a difference in class consciousness and individualized consciousness. And what is going on here today is an attempt to impose on Black people an individualized consciousness and to make us believe that by being totally free and disconnected as individuals, we will be free as a people. That is the very opposite of what is going to occur. The more we push for our own unique individual freedom, the more we will come under the domination and oppression of others as a group. There is no ultimate individual freedom, ladies and gentlemen, as Black people, if there is not group freedom. The powerless individual is not seen as an individual anyway. That is why we talk about what? Stereotyping. That is why the slave master, our master calls us what? Field hands. Not individuals, workers, laborers, because there's what? A category of people there. We only bother to individualize those who are powerful. Individual freedom is made possible by group freedom and by group power. It is the power of the group that provides room for individual expression. Powerless groups do not have individual expression and are not perceived as individual. If you want to get the maximum of individual expression and freedom, you must maximize your group power and strength in the world.
Always has a reason for the things that he allows. Yeah. Listen to this, brace yourselves, my Black brothers and sisters. Slavery in America did not catch God by surprise. In his sovereignty, God, listen, allowed Africans to be brought to America as slaves. Africa was on the eve of social, spiritual, and economic catastrophe and famine. Still going on today. So he brought 6 million Africans to America through the Middle Passage as slaves. Just as it was God's divine plan to enslave the nation of Israel, it was his sovereignty that allowed Africans to be brought to America in bondage.
I stick by it. I call you a handkerchief head Negro. I call him a handkerchief head Negro. And I'm sticking with it. Google it. You got words like gaslighting, handkerchief head Negro. All that's in the dictionary now. You just outdated.
Point of information. Through you to the speaker, do you know my name is Quincy Murphy or Councilman Murphy or Third Ward or Mr. Murphy? Not handkerchief Negro, a number of those words.
I view you as a handkerchief head Negro. I don't know how you view yourself.
Point of information. Through you to the speaker, my name is Councilman Murphy, Mr. Murphy, or Third Ward Councilman. Them three. No, we ain't using adjectives or we ain't using those other words. And all due respect to you, I'm asking you, and I'm asking my colleagues to my name is Councilman-elect Quincy Murphy, nothing else. I don't want to be called by anything else.
Man, that Third Ward gonna look pretty much the same from the time you got there to the time you left. Y'all ain't doing all of that, but your ego got you thinking you are. That's usually how handkerchief head Negroes act and talk to other Negroes. I'm gonna talk about it. They used to call him Uncle Tom.
Go ahead. Mr. Mays, please refrain from referring to your colleagues as derogatory names.
This is an appeal on me calling y'all handkerchief head Negroes. And so I'm gonna talk about handkerchief head Negroes in the appeal, win, lose, or draw. That's what this appeal is about. I call you and him a handkerchief head Negro. Now y'all don't want me to say handkerchief head Negro in the appeal. What he want me to say? Mr. Murphy, handkerchief head Negro. Councilman Murphy, handkerchief head Negro. Quincy Murphy, handkerchief head Negro. I know your name the whole time. Giving speeches. We're not gonna be able to get no work done until we get him out of there. He's a disgrace. And you think I'm gonna sit here and applaud you? You're a handkerchief head Negro.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Shouts out to Cassandra. Shouts out to Raw, my brother Bakari. Shouts out to Erica, Real Black Gentleman. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people get mad at the terms that I use, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I did want to come on here and talk about something. So this time I'm not going to put the link in the chat right now. You know what I'm saying? It would be good if I could do it and have y'all comment, but y'all get stuck and then y'all want to argue with each other. And you know what I'm saying? So I can't, you know, I'm working on my mature level. So what I'm going to do this time is, you know, talk about something because it's something kind of important that I wanted to mention. And, you know, a sister on Bakari show the other day was talking about water issues that they was having in Pennsylvania. And I think she was putting together some, but I couldn't really get in contact with her. I was hoping to bring her over here so I could see what she was doing and maybe, you know what I'm saying, put in with her, you know, and, you know, with whatever she's trying to do. So, and there's other things, you know what I'm saying, I do want to mention, but I want to show y'all a couple of things because I know we kind of think it's only in certain areas, but the certain areas is usually Black areas, and it is not just here, but I just want to show y'all a couple things. So hold on. All right, so now my computer started freezing, but I know y'all remember we talked about this whole water thing, you know, especially down in Alabama, and oh man, I forgot to get the other ones, but I'll have some like towards the end. But you know, we talked about what was going on down in Alabama, and let me show y'all, you know, because I talked about this before, and it's still going on, and this is a crisis that's been going on for a long time, you know what I'm saying? So but this is what's going on now. So you know, it's still happening, but they like, you know, talking about they plan to do something, but we saw what's going on. And this is the sister here.
The googling of it, I've had to replace carpets, floors, and things 3 or 4 times.
Right, in a city where it's 85% Black and a third of the people live in poverty. And it's interesting, all these towns 80-something% Black, 80-something% Black, you know.
Down in the 80s or early 90s. They don't care. Even the houses sitting on solid land, they still. The smell. We have central air. You have all the windows down. Sometimes it's just like the sewer system is in your house. Early in the morning, or late at night, late in the afternoon. You can't come out and sit on your patio.
Right, so they announced there was going to be a pilot program for sewage infrastructure improvements for 11 communities, including Holcomb County. Now, where most of the Black people are is Haynesville, like where she's from. You see a Haynesville resident. Most Black people live in this area. Now, like I said, man, y'all already have been seeing the politics play out in Mississippi of how this thing keeps going over and over and over. And that's why I'm hoping I did get it, because I was talking about the history of Lawrence County. So I have to, you know, put it out there. But yo, this whole infrastructure problem is is a huge thing to be able to solve. In this particular issue, they never had like a sewage kind of thing. And so that in itself is you know, a huge problem. So they generally rely on the septic tanks, but you know, the city says it's up to them to, you know, get it and maintain it. But these people are living in poverty down there. So
Or late at night, late in the afternoon, you can't come out and sit on your patio. No human should have to live the way this lagoon, the problem is causing. All right, thank you. You have a blessed day.
and you know, there's a lot of like grandmas and stuff down there. And it's like they say, anytime it rains, it gets crazy. And just like a news report on it.
Molly Mae Holcomb can't remember a time when she didn't have to deal with the stench of human waste in her rural Alabama home. But that's what happens every time it rains.
When it rains real bad and it goes to really overflowing over there, it's all in my yard. They have had to come out with the pump truck and pump it about my yard. The smell, we have central air. You have all the windows down. Sometimes it's just like the sewer system is in your house.
In a community of less than 1,000 people, a third of them live in poverty, and 85% of them are Black. Local activist Catherine Flowers says sewage issues like this disproportionately impact places like Hayneville and people like Holcomb.
It's like a lake full of raw sewage that's right on the other side of those homes. And as she said, families never around here. And it never should have been put there in the first place. But hopefully out of what is getting ready to happen, that we're going to find remedies that these things will not continue to happen.
They've gotten the attention of the EPA and the White House, and now help is on the way. Hayneville will be a launching point for a pilot program to rebuild failing sewage systems across the country.
And I've traveled all across the country, so I've seen tough conditions. But the conditions in Lowndes County at the concentration is breathtaking.
The program will start off by helping 11 rural communities plan, pay for, and carry out sewage system improvements as part of the new.
All right, so yeah, it's supposed to be a new infrastructure bill. Yo, what up, Oni? What up, Bawana? Shouts out to Matron. What up, Matron? Well, Bakari, he been saying the brother that he knows is about to go down there and give water. You know, it's been people from all over been actually doing stuff. It's like people from Alabama have been going down to Jackson, Mississippi to help them. Actually, you know, that's the crazy part. But it was one Black, I could pull it up. It was a Black nonprofit organization that went down there. The other ones have been like white nonprofit organizations, and they kind of have deals with like, you know, major corporations and companies and stuff like that. And a lot of them is working with the city, and most of it goes through the city councilor lady. But you know, if you would have heard back then, you know, she was saying, you know, well, you know, better off using outhouses and stuff like that, and taking up for the city and stuff. But a lot of the funding goes through her. But you know, I've seen one Black nonprofit. I'll pull it up. You know what I'm saying? I showed it before. I forget the name of that brother. But I guess Bakari can say the name of the other dude. That's why I'll be wanting to put the link in the chat, but y'all be kind of wilding sometimes. But I ain't gonna let you wild today. So if y'all want to come on, y'all just let me know. Just say in the chat that you want to come on, and I'll put the link in there. Yeah, what up, Koku? What up, my brother Brandon? But anyway, you know, like I said, we've been working on that, but it's more than one way to skin a cat. So, you know, we got to do that. But of course, we already saw how these politics with these relief funds play out with the city of Jackson. And, you know, this is what the mayor had to say now about if anybody, you know, whatever. But this was going on with the relief program, and people not really wanting to sign up to help with their water bills. Oh yeah, because their water bills is higher than normal, and they acting like they're not paying them, but their water bills is more than usual, and they're still not getting clean water. So they're giving them something to help with it, but they think it's a problem with it. Most of the residents don't trust them. So
Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba wants to set the record straight about the water bill relief program by the People's Relief Campaign. This comes after Councilman Kenneth Stokes questioned where the program was getting its money. Mayor Lumumba says the funds come from the Low-Income Household Water Assistance Program, a federal program. He also wanted to assure residents worried about their personal information being abused.
Don't allow anyone to tell you that they're stealing your information. We are the water department. We have your information. We need you to request the relief. That is why it is organized in that way. In order for the federal funds to apply, residents have to request it. They have to make it known that they want the relief on their bills. That is why you are being organized and asked to come or sign up online, not in order to gain access to information that we already have.
According to the mayor, over 9,000 people have signed up for the program and nearly $8 million of relief has been provided.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. Let me see. I don't know if I shout out my brother Brandon Baxter. What up, my brother? Yeah, I know. Yeah, on the defense budget. Yeah, he definitely should know better, but that's just how it kind of is, you know what I'm saying? And we already know that Jackson is actually right now an example of like something going on crisis. And they would say, oh, it's the blackest city in America. But, you know, and this when the sister had came on, she started talking about the problem that they was having in Philadelphia, right? How, you know, the sewage was backing up in the streets in Philadelphia. Now, we talked about New York, right? It happening in New York, right? We know about Flint and all of that in the time. The thing is, I ain't even bring up like Flint. And then there's another place in Michigan that's even worse than Flint. It's Harbor City, I think it is. I'm pretty sure Matron knows. But the sister came on here and she was like, yo, we trying to do something to get them like kind of filters on their faucet. And that might be a good idea for like to solve a lot of the issues, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know. That's something that I was interested in hearing a lot more about. But, you know, I didn't even talk about this, you know, what was going on in Philadelphia. So
Pennsylvania came back positive for at least one of the highly toxic chemicals used in products like nonstick cookware, carpets, firefighting foam, and fast food wrappers. 400 sites were tested according to results posted online by the Department of Environmental Protection. The positive tests were from more than 24 counties. One test from a well in Sagertown Borough in Crawford County came back nearly 3 times the limit. Jeff Petroulis for CBSN Philly.
Yup, that's what it was. Benton Harbor. That's the one I showed. It's almost, if not just as bad as, you know, might be even worse. But obviously we see the infrastructure that's going on. And guess what? The parts of the city that's having it, it's mostly the black areas, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so with the infrastructure thing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, this is something that you're only going to solve with your own thing, because this is the amount of money they put into it. And obviously, like if it came to like Jackson, Mississippi, and they could fix the water going to a certain area or another area, and especially if one area became a sundown town, which part do you think is going to happen in, right? And the infrastructure is messed up in all of these communities. But at some point, you know, we're going to have to get a grip on the water and, you know what I'm saying, in our own communities, because that's the only way you're going to be able to do anything about it. Yeah, you know. But it's different things everybody could do, you know what I'm saying? You could put effort in, you know what I'm saying? Or just whatever you could do. Yeah, I appreciate it, Koku.
Now, President Joe Biden in Philadelphia today. This is the president getting off Air Force One around 2 in the afternoon. He spent time touring the Belmont treatment plant in North Philadelphia as part of a major announcement. Here's our Jeff Cole.
When the weather turns bitter as it is now, there's always the threat of a water main break. The president arrives with money to try to fix some of that. At the corner of 54th and Warrington, a city water department crew works to replace a water main valve in the middle of the street. Orange cones are placed and water flows from a fire hydrant, all part of the constant maintenance a big city aging water system demands. Just blocks away at 56th and Springfield, residents will long recall the water nightmare of nearly 1 year ago.
Looked outside, it was just like a river going down the block. Shocking, kids scared, think we ain't gonna make it out. They calling, talking about give us a boat.
A 48-inch, 100-year-old water main burst here last February, sending 8 million
You hear like how old the water main was in Philadelphia, by the way.
burst here last February.
Give us a boat.
A 48-inch, 100-year-old water main burst here last February, sending 8 million gallons of water in.
Put it like this, right? This water main was around when Black Wall Street was around, pretty much, or they was at least building it.
To the streets, flooding cars and basements and making life miserable. Water seeped into Passion Jones' car, sending it to the shop for repairs.
It was a disaster because you have dirty water, trash. We gotta go around. We gotta go the opposite way from going to work.
In Philadelphia, 3,100 miles of pipe carry water to its 1.6 million residents. The pipes have an average age of 77 years and are vulnerable to extreme weather. The president arrives bearing gifts, $500 million for Philadelphia to upgrade its water system. The money will replace 13 miles of water mains and remove 160 lead service lines running from residents' homes to the main water line.
Now, using the material they was using after 100 years, you know what I'm saying, with water, how much iron and rust do you think got into those people water, right? And if I've been to like Philly passing, but I'm not familiar with it. But if I was to guess which neighborhoods is getting affected, how much of those millions of people look like us, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I wonder where that money will go to also, though.
Lines.
Exposure to lead impacts children's brain development. It's hazardous to their health. No amount of lead in water is safe. None. No amount is safe.
Back in King Sessing, long strips of new pavement run along Springfield Ave, tracking where repairs were done after the water main break. The neighborhood seems back to normal 1 year after the flood, but many remember how life was turned upside down when a big, century-old water main gave way.
It was crazy. Me and my family had to go away for a while because it was out for weeks at a time, or we had to travel different ways to get to on our block. It was just a mess.
The federal money Biden announced today will be paired with city money to do some of the work. In King Sessing, Jeff Cole, Fox 29 News.
Looking for something new to do?
Let me stop for a second. So yeah, man. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Bwana. Yeah, consider only in black neighborhoods. Yeah, 100-year-old pipes. And this is in Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? It's not like this is just some rural backwoods area. And let me tell you, I don't know the answer for like a major whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like the sister who was talking about it, she's in this area. I think that she said that that's why I wanted to be more clear about what she was doing. That hopefully, you know what I'm saying, I'll be able to get in contact with her. And I'm probably just rushing it, but you know, she said they had something to come up with like filters or something that they can use on that water and to help the people. So like, yo, even that just coming up with ways to fix it in a easier way than just being able to overhaul a whole structure or whatever, you know, because ultimately we understand that, you know, you are in a corporation of America, right? So until you are funding your own resources and in your own towns and have your own situations and you have the tax money with your own selves, you know what I'm saying? Until you in that point, I don't know what the overall thing will be for you, you know, but that's also a good idea. But that's something that people definitely need to, you know what I'm saying, brainstorm on. But yo, yeah, Bwana, the medical effects of all of this water issues is not a coincidence, right? It's not a coincidence. So, right, because it's also in Baltimore, right? So check this out. Like just a month ago, Baltimore struggling with the aging water infrastructure as, you know, their trust fund. And they was just talking about how Philly had some clean water lying like hell. And they were saying they had some stuff that don't even break down that you find in plastic containers or something like that and all kind of stuff. So, and this is the stuff that's the water. And this is in Baltimore here. So we already know what kind of city Baltimore is.
President Gloria Johnson, getting drinking water for her family is an ordeal.
I'm not trusting the water. I'm not comfortable with using it. I'm not comfortable with them drinking it.
Every month, the mother of two buys bottled water and boils gallons from the tap for her family to drink, cook, and brush their teeth.
It's frustrating because we got to keep up with this every single day on a daily basis. We got to continue to tell our kids every day why it isn't healthy and why it is important to remember to use the clean water and not the frosted water.
That's because even though Baltimore's drinking water meets federal safety standards, according to the city's annual water quality reports, the water coming out of her tap is sometimes brown, which could be a sign iron is leaching from aging pipes, whether in her building or pipes under the street.
These are unacceptable conditions that we're seeing all across the country.
Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Regan says Baltimore is one of countless communities across the U.S. grappling with aging water infrastructure as federal investment dwindled. Some experiencing water crises like Flint, Michigan, Jackson, Mississippi, and rural West Virginia.
Why has the U.S. government not done more, invested more in water infrastructure across this country?
You know, there are a lot of needs in this country. Unfortunately, we have waited too long. And there are certain populations in this country, Black and brown communities, tribal communities, low-income communities, that are seeing the worst aspects of.
And even in the situation, maybe it's the water that got us not drinking, thinking straight. Like, yeah, Black and brown and all of these other people who don't give a, never mind. It's not the time for that. I'm gonna keep going. See, I can get caught up on the petty stuff that easily, but okay, man, we're gonna help everybody get it. Well, we can't even do right by ourselves, so.
Of this disinvestment.
Last year, Maryland received $144 million from the EPA as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, which set aside about $50 billion for drinking and wastewater improvements. Administrator Regan says the money, seen as the largest federal investment in water infrastructure, is both historic and just the beginning. He says he also wants to make sure the money is used to help prevent other water crises.
Different cities have different challenges. Baltimore has its challenges, but you know, Flint and Jackson and some of these other counties, they have different challenges. And so we want to tackle the problem in places like Baltimore so that they don't get too far down the road.
And
now, and it's interesting, like, because it really is different issues. Like Alabama, they don't even have a thing in Philadelphia. Theirs is 100 years old, right? It's really different power. You can't just put a whole, well, you can, but the amount of money that it costs to put a whole sewage system in a town, right? Unless that town was in a town full of poverty at that, that's not supported by other people, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's different issues, like, because they're not getting upgrades because, you know, already know where the upgrades is going to go first and foremost. Right. And they're going to put money into every other thing. And at the end of the day, even though they take your tax money, you are going to be the last, no matter what it is. I don't care which groups line up. You know, you're going to be at the bottom of all of that. Right. And, you know, I don't know what to tell you. So
Look, what you're saying is you want to invest in Baltimore as the EPA so that it doesn't become the next Jackson or Flint.
We have to. We do have to have proactive strategy to prevent cities from getting to that point.
In Baltimore, lack of investment has led to problems like sewer backups and skyrocketing water bills because utilities put repair costs on consumers.
And that's the thing, the poor areas and that's getting the dirty water, they're the ones that's getting the water bill increased the most because it's quote unquote putting a strain on it. Right, so they're even having to pay more in the bills because they're not, like, that's a, you know, it's a dirty game, I guess.
I'm here near one of Baltimore's 3 water filtration plants, which helps the city serve some 1.8 million customers. It's from critical sites like this that Baltimore residents receive their tap water.
The city's annual water quality reports show that when water leaves filtration plants like this, it's considered safe to drink. But last September, routine testing discovered E. coli in the drinking water at 3 locations in West Baltimore, a predominantly Black area, leading to a boil water advisory.
And that's like how it happens to keep being in the Black areas. Oh man, by mistake, you know what I'm saying? Now E. coli and the, you know what I'm saying, and the predominantly Black, and that's the thing that had the coincidence with all of these in Philadelphia and Jackson and Alabama, right? I mean, you can keep naming places in Michigan, predominantly Black area. I mean, it's crazy.
It's from critical sites like this that Baltimore residents receive their tap water.
The city's annual water quality reports show that when water leaves filtration plants like this, it's considered safe to drink. But last September, routine testing discovered E. coli in the drinking water at 3 locations in West Baltimore, a predominantly Black area, leading to a boil water advisory. In a hearing, the Department of Public Works said infrastructure failures were to blame.
It was a result of aging infrastructure.
But Matthew Garbarg, who oversees Baltimore's major infrastructure projects, says it's a multifaceted problem.
So are you saying what you're saying and what city officials saying are in line? They were sort of definitive in that hearing and saying aging infrastructure definitely contributed to it.
It is definitely something that is affecting our whole system. Whether that particular case was caused by the aging infrastructure, it's really hard to tell.
While Garbarg says he confidently drinks Baltimore tap water every day, he believes to make necessary improvements, the city would need...
He said he drank the water every day. Look at him, yo. He said he drank the water every day. I believe him. I believe he might do drink that water every single day. I believe that.
Definitely something that is affecting our whole system. Whether that particular case
He definitely sound
was
retarded.
caused by the aging infrastructure, it's really hard to tell.
While Garbarg says he confidently drinks Baltimore tap water every day, he believes to make necessary improvements, the city would need hundreds of millions of more dollars.
How much do you need the federal government to be a partner in updating your aging infrastructure, or do you think you can do it on your own?
We need them desperately. We need to have our local, our state, and our federal partners all aligned on the mission.
We've also talked to some Baltimore residents who say when they open up their tap water, it's brown. What's your message to those people?
Yes, that is a very, very concerning thing to see. The brown is a concentration of the iron. It technically is perfectly safe to consume. It is not good looking, it's not attractive, and if you wash clothes with it, it will stain your clothes. So we understand that. Our message is call us.
They said if they wash your clothes with it, it'll stain your clothes.
One in our system should have to go out and buy bottled water.
Still, the $50 billion is not nearly enough. By the EPA's own estimates, the nation's drinking and wastewater infrastructure will require more than $744 billion over 20 years just to meet existing health and environmental standards.
The resources that we have from Bill are just a shot in the arm. There's a huge resource gap here.
A gap that people here are left trying to fill themselves. Stacey Beam says she refuses to believe the water coming from her faucet is safe. It's cloudy, sometimes brown, and even sandy. She works at the Food Project to cook and package meals to serve to the community and uses bottled water to prepare the food. And at home, Stacey says she build.
I can understand the trepidation that people have all across this country because water systems have been failing our communities.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bwana, definitely. Well, I mean, yo, it's obvious what they're going to do. Well, number one, even if you don't even want to think it's an attack, they're going to put the money, the tax money that they take from you, put it into the areas that they live, and maybe give you the scraps if it's left over. Why do you think the areas that are predominantly Black, you know what I'm saying, are failing with our infrastructure? Now, the problem is nobody is going to come and help us, you know what I'm saying? So there are people out there who are trying to do stuff, you know what I'm saying, but they don't really get a lot of support. You know, the sister had a great idea that maybe could help overall. That's a lot cheaper when she was talking about ways to filter the water, you know what I'm saying? Like, or if you could get somebody who know about this or some kind of scientist where you can filtrate the water, like, you know, create something where you can, you know, that may be something that can help a lot more. But if you ain't doing something to like help things in your community, because odds are you're likely drinking the same kind of water, if you want to be real, especially if you live in a Black area, right? If you think it's just these few cities here that I'm showing you, then you're crazy, right? What do you think they're doing? But they're always going to keep the resources in their area, even if they take it from you. Now, most of us, like yourself, probably let them just take your resources and do all of this stuff. But the odds are you're probably drinking some poison water yourself. So you may want to think about that, you know what I'm saying, before you whatever, because they're not going to put that kind of money into the infrastructure in your community. But if you want to talk about what we're here to talk about, you know what I'm saying, you could go just move to a white area. Your problem would be solved, Jack's Law, you know. But if we're talking about what we want to talk about, a part of it is being able to have a system, is being able to run a town, being able to run a city. And, you know, and obviously the water got a lot of us messed up in the head, saying a lot of crazy stuff, right? Yo, shouts out to my brother Bobby, right? Oh yeah, that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. You can go ahead and move. Just go move to like the white area and hope that works out for you.
Have been found in their water. And now, what started out as an issue to be handled by the city has tonight led to state officials getting involved as well. WJC's Live, Annie Rose Ramos was at a news conference tonight involving both city and state leaders. And Annie Rose, we heard them say the source of this contamination is still under investigation.
That's right, Vic. As of 10/9, officials still do not know how this water was contaminated in the first place. The mayor telling me that water distribution has ended for the day, but that is going to be picking back up again at multiple locations starting tomorrow morning. Tonight, 1,500 homes and businesses under a boil advisory after DPW found harmful bacteria, including E. coli, in the water.
Well, the city, knowing it's E. coli in the water, should do better than that for the people.
The department giving out free water, but that supply quickly running out, leaving Father Stephen Cooper worrying what he'll do.
So now we got to go out and buy bottled water ourselves.
Monday morning, DPW said through routine testing, E. coli was found at multiple locations in West Baltimore, including 2 police facilities and this firehouse off West Lafayette.
Once DPW received that confirmation, the public was notified.
But the union president representing city firefighters says he knew about the contamination on Sunday.
I received a phone call from our assistant chief around 3:30 yesterday afternoon.
Putting safety measures in place immediately.
The members in station, they have been given bottled water.
The mayor says they had to retest the initial possible positive result they got on Saturday before letting the public know on Monday.
I'm just helping out the older lady.
The first requirement when you get a test like this is to retest to make sure it's not a false negative.
Officials still don't know what is causing this contamination.
We are identifying construction projects that may have caused potential impacts to our water system. We are performing leak detection in the area as well.
But in the meantime, DPW releasing this map showing who needs to boil their water.
The smaller box is the actual impacted, affected area.
And what symptoms they need to be monitoring for.
Why it's usually within 2 to 4 days following exposure. So monitor for fever, for diarrhea, for bloody diarrhea, for nausea, for vomiting.
State resources stepping in to help the city with water distribution.
We plan to be out at other sites in the city.
As DPW says they're flushing the systems, adding more chlorine to the water and retesting.
Tonight we'll be retesting. It takes about 24 hours for those test results to come back.
In the meantime,
We'll boil water. We want to boil some. It's not just from the kids' house, but my house as well.
Yeah, and exactly, Cassandra. I don't know, it's until we are in control of some kind of infrastructure somewhere, you know what I'm saying, then the same thing will continue to happen. And Jack's Law, watch this, don't worry about it, because Jack's Law must be a Pan-African, saying that he wants to move far enough to not be pushed into that. So he's obviously a Pan-African, so y'all can give him a pass, right? Watch that. But anyway, Well, you'll see. So yeah, let me show y'all this because this is a part of what goes on with these cities and how it all works out. And because this is a different kind of issue that's going on with the water, aside from the pipes and the infrastructure issue. This is what's going on with the treatment of the water in Baltimore, and obviously something that you could control if you use some kind of planning and have some kind of unity or cohesion. But obviously the water has got to us. You know what I'm saying? The well has definitely been poisoned from the looks of it.
Has the latest on the office's report.
The city reached a critically low level of this chemical, and if the payment dispute wasn't settled soon, a public works employee said it would be a crisis reminiscent of the contaminated water situation in Flint, Michigan. And this whole issue came to light when someone reported it to the Office of the Inspector General, which then launched its own investigation. The vendor that supplies this water treatment chemical was in the process of renewing its contract with the city. Several weeks before the contract renewal date, last November, the vendor emailed a letter to the acting city purchasing agent requesting a price increase. The contract was approved, but without a price adjustment. The vendor sent 2 follow-up emails asking about the price increase. When it didn't receive a response, it started submitting invoices with that escalated price. Because the invoices didn't match the rates in the city's procurement website, they weren't paid. The vendor then alerted the city that if the balance isn't paid, they would pause deliveries of the chemical.
We had a vendor.
Hey, Raw, they drink tap water every day, Raw. That's what's going on with that person.
That wasn't getting almost $70,000 of money that was owed to them, and constantly trying to communicate to try to get paid. So in this case, I do believe the city of Baltimore's communication truly broke down, and it was not the vendor. It was actually, we should have been more on top of such an important chemical.
And according to the city, there was about a 2-week lapse in deliveries. This brought supply levels of the chemical to a critically low level. In June, the city approved an emergency contract with the vendor with the price increase and paid most of the past due invoices.
Now, if you wasn't paying attention, if you get back into like the business thing that we was talking about, the city is paying for somebody chemical to clean the water, which is something that you could also like develop and process and ultimately become, wealthy off of. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Black businesses did get started this way, by a need and a desire that about stuff that I was hurting and killing our communities. Now, like I said, the sister was talking about, special kind of filters. Maybe there's a special kind of filter that we could start being able to create that you don't need a whole, septic tank. Maybe you do. I don't know. But that's up to like the people who we want to encourage to be scientists and studying the issues that's within our communities and stuff like that. But ultimately, even with like the campaigns like the sister was doing to get more filters on there, like we need to support that the campaigns that are going on right now, like the brother who the brother Bakari is talking about, who's trying to take water down there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can all put it in on that, or if anybody's interested, like just taking them water or whatever, because other people are doing stuff like this. But the ultimate goal and the ultimate issue is to solve an issue that has been plaguing us for a very, very, very long time. And like I said, I don't know how you're going to do it other than using ingenuity, you know what I'm saying, using your brain, so, and teamwork, but that's a whole nother thing.
The city doesn't dispute the OIG's findings and has agreed to update its policies and procedures to better manage vendor invoices during pricing disputes. For WMAR 2 News, I'm Mallory Safaste.
Well, of course, we reached out to the mayor's office for a response to the report and these major communication issues. And it says, quote, "At this time, we will need to review the report before offering any detailed comment."
Come along, children. Now we're going to have.
All right. So, obviously this comes along with a whole lot of other things that needs to be done. But you know, all you could do is put in the work and start to work on your infrastructure. And the black cities that we do have, like, you know, we could take pride in it, you know, especially if we like, this is for the people like, yo, I'm from and even for the Pan-Africans, because if you're Pan-African, you would be for here. Like, you know what I'm saying? The black people in these communities that's hurting. And if you are a black American, you would be for the black Americans that's hurting in these communities. We would put our resources in our funds where our mouth is instead of just talking and doing actually nothing about it. But also, like, I always shout out Casidra and everything. We need to raise up plumbers and, like, you know, not all professions, like plumbers make good money, you know what I'm saying? Like, come up with different kind of professions, get our children into other things to learn how to clean our water and all of this stuff. So I'm gonna show one more thing about the water thing, and then I'm gonna go to something else, and y'all let me know if y'all want to come on. But hold on, give me 1 second though. All right, so before I move on, I'm gonna show a little bit about just as a whole, you know what I'm saying, just to wrap it up. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. All right, here we go.
A new study reveals a chemical that can be harmful to your health is found in water in 43 states. The Environmental Working Group says PFAS, which are chemicals used in consumer products like firefighting foam and non-stick cookware, can be found in 610 locations across the country, and that includes drinking water for about 19 million people. For more on this now, we're joined by David Andrews, a senior scientist for the environmental problem basically across the country.
In many ways. Because these chemicals, these are the Teflon or Scotch gutter chemicals, as you mentioned, they're common in firefighting foam. They're stain repellent, but they don't break down in the body and they don't break down in the environment, and they actually stick to our blood. So levels tend to increase over time.
So then are we seeing levels within our bodies? Are we finding children with this stuff in them? And how could it potentially affect our health? How is it affecting our health?
Right. These chemicals are actually found in everyone in the United States, just about everyone in the entire world. And exposure to these chemicals really can impact a lot of different health systems, cause numerous health harms, everything from testicular to kidney cancer, harm to the liver, harm to the thyroid. It actually impacts childhood development, low birth weight. And it actually can impact the immune system and reduce the effectiveness of vaccines. So it's really actually frightening how many different...
reduce the effectiveness of the vaccine you got.
Health systems, different organs, these chemicals can cause harm to.
Is this the sort of thing that can be filtered out with a Brita filter? I know my refrigerator, sort of the water part of it, comes with a filter. Do these filters make any sort of difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, a Brita type filter will help a little bit. So there's some hope there. If there's known contamination where you are, you may want to look into a more comprehensive filter, a reverse osmosis filter. But a carbon filter, a Brita filter, that will actually help and will reduce the levels typically.
So then, according to your report, Michigan has the most locations. And you guys have this great sort of interactive map where you can check out your own state and see the locations of concern and whether we're talking about a military base or drinking water. But Michigan has 192 locations in just that one state. Is this because they have more efforts to is it that
that's in Michigan?
They're testing these PFAS more there, and so they're identifying the problem, or is it that they really do have more of a problem than anywhere else?
So in large part, it's because they're identifying the problem. They're really getting out and ahead of other states. And
all right, so yeah, let me play this a little bit.
Where for years resident was found to be tainted in parts of New York City, Baltimore, and the state of Hawaii. And of course, Flint, Michigan is still coping with the effects of its lead contamination. Why are so many cities having problems with drinking water? Shannon Marquez is Dean of Global Engagement and Professor of Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene at Columbia University. Shannon, let me...
Historically underfunded or have been overburdened and juggling these funding priorities for a number of years. And if you think about that, that means then communities that have been historically underfunded or underserved are disproportionately
Black people
impacted. That, coupled with climate change and extreme weather events and flooding, are increasingly impacting water systems. And that aging infrastructure then also begins to impact contamination. So old pipes really can leach, and the plumbing can corrode, and lead contamination from these leaching pipes then becomes a health issue.
This has come to a head in a number of cities that we walked through. But is this more widespread? Are there other cities having the same problem, perhaps at a low?
Hearing in the news when there are these extreme events, when cities have boil water advisories. But the lack of financing to really rehabilitate old water systems means that systems have been neglected for years. So increasingly, we are going to hear more and more about this. But unfortunately, I'm afraid to say there are many, many communities who are facing these challenges right now. We're not hearing about all of them.
I know you work on water security in underdeveloped nations. Do some of the things you see in these cities remind you of the things you see overseas?
Absolutely. Many communities who are facing these challenges where there's a water emergency, they are having to plan their day, plan their livelihood, plan their life around accessing safe water and also how to deal with wastewater. And this really does mirror many of the concerns in low and middle income countries.
Is there a simple answer to explain why Americans or why cities in America have allowed the water systems to reach this state?
You know, there are a combination of things. One, communities are generally uninformed about the vulnerabilities and challenges with water systems. For example, when there's a water main break, it's usually reported in the context of a traffic disruption, not the fact that there's aging infrastructure or there are potential challenges with water quality or conveying the water as a result of that main break. Water is not a commodity that's properly valued in our country. People really take for granted that it's going to be readily available and safe, and they do not realize what it truly costs to protect water systems and make them reliable. And then I would say that environmental racism and what we're seeing with communities who are disproportionately impacted, it's quite evident since that the historical disinvestment in communities of color really mirrors the institutional racism and other barriers that have existed in our country in the troubled history.
The cities we talked about, Jackson is 80% Black, Flint is 60% Black, Benton Harbor, Michigan, another city with lead contamination problems, 80% Black. Now, the president's been going around the country talking about his infrastructure bill. Is that going to provide any help, or is it going to be enough help?
You know, unfortunately, although this is probably the most resources and finance that have been put toward and directed toward this problem in a number of years, unfortunately, that $55 billion is not going to be enough. It literally is just a drop in the bucket because the cost of fixing America's drinking water infrastructure will be nearly $480 billion over the next 20 years. And it's evident that the infrastructure package will not meet the full need. It's also a complicated mix of criteria that communities must meet. And that falls with the states to really decide who is.
And we heard what Jackson, Mississippi said they got to do.
Going to receive and prioritize those projects. While all this is happening, because it takes so long to implement change in a water project, the infrastructure is going to.
All right, so it goes on and on. I was going to show even water stuff from across the world, because it's not just here in America. It's like even Black nations are suffering from the same thing, and so the one thing I would say about this, because it's going to go into the next thing, hopefully the next time I talk, and hopefully if Matron, you're still listening, you could come on and share your experience too. But hopefully Erica will come on and, she's going to talk about her experience with the medical industry and, the treatment that we get. But we see the effects of medicine the medical effects in our community, and you know, how it impact us and how we get no help, and then the doctors, how they treat us on top of that, but also looking at the water, the infrastructure, and the health hazards that it calls on you. You understand? So this is a lot of things that we gotta look into, because at the end of the day, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's why we so spooked out and crooned out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's the water, but I don't know. So, you know, just the last thing I'll play on that, and this just leading into the next thing with the medical issues going on that we got to solve. A lot of issues from square one, and that's why we don't have time to have friends. No way. I know they want people of color us to death, but you know, but this is in Philly here.
Physically drained and exhausted. That's how Lola Caldwell says she feels every time she's wheeled out of this room.
No one told me that my life would be basically cut in half, all the things that I could do.
Lola just spent 3.5 hours on a dialysis machine. She's been doing this 3 days a week for 7 years.
I know it's saving my life until a kidney comes along, but you know, sometimes I feel at what cost.
Dr. Amara Dissanayake is a nephrologist at Einstein Medical Center.
We shouldn't be at a point where treating kidney disease. We should be at a point of preventing kidney disease.
That includes exercising, eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, and drinking plenty of water, something the city of Philadelphia has been pushing for years.
One of the places where we as the health department have done a lot of work is in conjunction with the school district in schools, because studies have shown that even mild dehydration affects children's ability to learn.
In 2017 and 2018, the health department did a study in conjunction with Philadelphia Parks and Recreation to see what would happen if they replaced the old water fountains with these new hydration stations that keep the water chilled, and the results were staggering.
We found that water consumption doubled just with the introduction of this newer, higher quality water fountain.
Right now, 37 million Americans have chronic kidney disease. And according to the National Kidney Foundation, Black or African Americans are more than 3 times as likely to have kidney failure than white Americans. The numbers for Hispanics or Latinos, American Indians, and Asian Americans are higher as well. Why? Because minority populations have higher rates of diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and high blood pressure.
Now, who do you think they talking about? The Native American and all these other people? Diabetes, obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure. Who do you think they talking about, right? And if you don't think water is a part of what's going on, maybe that's why we getting the extraordinary amount of Mobutu energy going on in our communities. Maybe that got something to do with it. I don't know, right? But I mean, it goes from everything that you eat, right, to the water that you drink, even, you know, taking baths and all of this stuff in the water that's around us. If that's what they want to do with their communities, that's on them. But, you know what I'm saying? We got 2 choices: let it keep happening, or try to figure out a way around it, or do something. You know what I'm saying? So
blood pressure, all of which can increase your risk for kidney disease.
We need to learn to speak up and share what's going on with us, because you never know. Somebody might be going through the same thing and not knowing what it is.
Erin Coleman, NBC 10 News.
All right, so that goes with it. And I'm gonna still say also, you know, stop eating all them chitlins, by the way. That has something to do with it. So before I get off of here, right, because I'm gonna put the link in the chat in a second, right? I want to show one other thing that I didn't really get to, and I kind of didn't want to get to it because I don't know all the details, and I really don't want to talk about this, but I did want to show this because I found there's some interesting aspects of this, so I want to show this part, right? To change the subject, and like I said, if you want to talk about the water thing, let me know. Hopefully I'll get in contact with the sister and she'll let me know exactly what she's doing, and maybe people can support her and all of that. But, you know, I think we'll figure something out. But I think the well has definitely been poisoned. All right, so let me just mention this, right? So I know y'all been seeing this Mexico thing and people been making jokes about it and all this stuff, but right, So that allegedly there's been an apology letter from the Mexican cartel, and I don't know if y'all seen this, but allegedly there's been an apology from them for kidnapping. Here we go.
More information now about a fifth person who almost joined the 4 Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico in that minivan. The group all grew up together, according to the wife of one of the survivors. They were from South Carolina, where the local community held this vigil last night. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is near the southern border in Brownsville, Texas. He's following this for us. Morgan, we just learned that the cartel sent a letter to the Mexican police. What do we know?
Yeah, Kate, this is a wild development here that's just happening in the last hour or so. These have been photos and a picture of a letter that is now circulated on social media. I do want to credit my colleague Ken Delanian for just confirming through a senior law enforcement official who told NBC News that this letter does appear to be a statement of apology from the Gulf Cartel, which, of course, resides primarily in neighboring Matamoros, just across this international bridge, Kate. I want to read you a portion of that letter and then talk about the several photos that accompanied it. But this was a letter that appeared today on behalf of the cartel, saying in part that they strongly condemn the events of Friday, March 3rd, of course, that being the date of this horrific kidnapping last week, in which, unfortunately, an innocent working mother died. That was the Mexican national, Kate, and 4 American citizens were kidnapped, of which 2 died. For this reason, we have decided to hand over those involved and directly responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own determination and
Yeah, first of all, my bad. I meant to do this earlier, but but one is like a sci-fi movie. Well, sci-fi movies is, like fake versions of our lives. You know what I'm saying? We live in a sci-fi movie. Real Black Gentleman, yeah, inaccessible pipes isn't very smart, but this is, the Greek logic that, built the world according to y'all, and nobody had a idea about how to do anything before Europeans came along. But yeah, nobody thinks, like, only certain groups of people would think that's a good idea. But I don't want to get too deep on that. And a matter of fact, I probably will do that, but an apology letter, right? Ain't that some consider? The cartel just apologize. Oh yeah, okay, it's all good then. No, send us them people who did whatever. But yeah, Rod, anytime you depending on them for anything, you late.
The events of Friday, March 3rd, of course, that being the date of this horrific kidnapping last week, in which, unfortunately, an innocent working mother died. That was the Mexican national, Kate, and 4 American citizens were kidnapped, of which 2 died. For this reason, we have decided to hand over those involved and directly responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own determination and indiscipline and against the rules in which the CDG has always operated, that acronym standing for the Gulf Cartel. So, Kate, essentially the larger organization disavowing a faction within it. And we saw photos of multiple men sitting tied in front of a pickup truck. Very important to note here, Kate, we do not have confirmation that those men have been taken into custody by Mexican law enforcement at this time. But we do have a senior law enforcement official in the United States saying that he does believe this letter and believes photos released by the cartel are indeed real. Much more to come, though. Kate?
Yeah, this is really a big development. And it really raises the question, doesn't it, Morgan? If they're apologizing because of all the attention that's been on these American citizens, what about all the other people
What about
who are involved
everybody
in
else?
cartel violence every single day? There are thousands of people missing in Mexico.
Yeah, there absolutely are. And I had a chance to...
Why? She asked a great question there, right? Why in the hell are we worried about a couple of Negroes that went down to Mexico when thousands of people of color are kidnapped every day? Why would we care about a couple of Negroes, right? So...
Yeah, there absolutely are. And I had a chance to speak with a cartel expert a short time ago. I asked him, put this in context for us. Have you ever seen a cartel essentially act as PR following a crime of this nature? He says, I have not.
They had a PR come disavow themselves of it. That's funny. The cartel got a PR these days. I guess they're not the same cartel no more, Cassandra. What do you know, right? But now imagine if you put that on everybody, Ham Pots, not you, not America. I'm talking about you. Put that on everybody, Ham Pots. That has some. You think the cartel ain't gonna be reaching out like, yo, Madam Cassandra, Madam Erica, Madam Madam Matron, King Bakari, King Bobby, please, our citizens acted out of control. What would you like us to do? And I would suggest y'all as the leaders be like, well, send me those ones that got out of line. We're going to show them what's up. And if you want to send them back, with a basket, with something in it, that's on you. But, that's a long way away. We'll have control of water by then, right? So never mind.
As PR following a crime of this nature, he says, I have not. The only thing that makes this different is the fact that this involved U.S. citizens. And he added that, as you mentioned, Kate, there are kidnappings, killings, indiscriminate crime that takes place not too far from where I'm standing. But because it involves Mexican citizens, there would never be an apology of this nature coming from a cartel.
It was like because it involved Mexicans. There'd never be an apology to no damn Mexicans. But, we'll apologize for these couple of Negroes. I understand what's going on. Joe Biden about to run for office again. But check this out, though, because the cartel got the damn PR. But you know who don't got no damn PR? The damn Mexican president, who might be way more gangster than their cartel. Let's be real, you know what I'm saying? So he says the U.S. will not intervene in our territory. They will not do a damn thing about these Negroes who had no business in my territory. They will not do nothing. So the cartel got the PR, and the president is the gangster one. Ain't this something? I don't know if y'all can see what he's saying.
No vamos a permitir.
We are not going to permit any foreign government to intervene in our territory, much less that a foreign
Gobierno
army.
extranjero, y mucho menos que intervengan fuerzas armadas de un gobierno extranjero en nuestro territorio. Nada más.
I would just like to tell them that they either charge the treatment of. Hold on. I would just like to tell them that they either change the treatment of Mexico or from today.
Lo cambian su trato hacia México o desde hoy comenzamos con una campaña informativa.
We'll start an information campaign in the United States so that all Mexicans, our fellow countrymen,
En Estados Unidos para que todos los mexicanos, nuestros paisanos, sepan de esta.
Yeah, so all the illegal immigrants that came over here will know about this aggression by Republicans against Mexico, and that they continue with this attitude.
Alevosía de esta
We
agresión
will insist not one person will vote for their ass.
de los republicanos a México. Y si continúan con esa actitud, vamos a estar insistiendo.
And due to why they got all of these old white dudes representing everything. Like, I hope black people don't, like, I can see like the wise elder who, like, who's in on a lot, but let's like get away. Like, they always got the old dudes trying to threaten somebody, but they got an army, I guess, to back them up, and y'all fear that. But I mean, they be looking delusional, like Joe Biden. Like, imagine Joe Biden coming out there like trying to, it's 1500 and he trying to do business with you and threaten you about war. Like, you be like, what is this slow dude talking about? But I'm just saying, let's not just pick the oldest, like 80-year-old leaders. I'm just saying.
De que ni un voto de mexicanos, de hispanos, que se.
All right, so they're gonna get on code with they voting. No Mexican or Hispanic. I don't know what that means, if including Fat Joe in them too, but no Mexican or Hispanic vote. Or I don't know if you're including Dwayne in that. Nah, let me keep.
De hispanos, que ese es un pueblo independiente, soberano, costó mucho.
This is an independent, sovereign country, it costed a lot. Oh yeah, by the way, the black men who helped free their country and became he was one of their first presidents, but they tried to run him out because he was black. So yeah, it was black people doing that too. I wonder where they stand on CRT. So obviously we know, but he's saying it costed a lot. They already took a lot that belonged to them.
De allá donde están hablando, todo eso era de México, porque ayer fue el colmo.
Yesterday was the last straw. You had the nerve. You let Negroes get killed anywhere in the world, but when Negroes get killed here, you got a problem with it. You got the cartel who's supposed to be scared, who's supposed to be the gangsters. You got them apologizing. This is the last straw. He must have wrote this after he seen the cartel do a PR thing, or something. All right, so let him finish.
Es que, según el informe que me presentaron hoy por la mañana, este señor se atreve a decir que van a utilizar.
He said they dare to say they're going to send the armed forces of the United States into our territory. It's an invasion. That's what he said. It's an invasion if you send any kind of soldier around here without my permission.
Las Fuerzas Armadas de Estados Unidos para
the West Arabs
introducirse en nuestro territorio. Es una invasión. Y
I don't know, Buwana. I don't know anymore. The president here is like the cartel is the one with the PR. The president, the one that's talking crazy. Like, hey, I dare them to come here. That's an invasion. And if they do, we're going to have the Mexican and Hispanics. Now, I don't know who they're including with the Hispanics, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, yo, we're going to influence them. We're going to run an information campaign on them and make sure they don't get no support, right? And I don't know if they're going to get kicked out of the country or not, but, that's on them. But it was the cartel sitting there like, oh, no, we disavow these people. We had nothing to do with it. And that must have pissed them off. How dare we apologize? We're not going to be the first nation to apologize for killing Negroes, right? That's how I took it, I guess.
Estados Unidos para
I don't know no more. It might be changing now, Buwana.
Es una invasión y podríamos acudir a la ONU.
Yeah, the UN ain't gonna do nothing to help you, bro.
Por eso estamos iniciando. ¿Sí? Queremos ver incluso la reacción de otros legisladores del Partido Republicano. A ver qué opinan.
Yeah, the UN is definitely not going to help him. All right. So you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I'm gonna show a couple more things and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? There's one more serious thing, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat now while I go through the last serious thing. The other super last thing is not as serious, but I think it is, but it's not. But y'all need to understand something too, though. Oh damn. And if any of y'all got a thing in there, y'all can approve the people messages that they saying that because they hide a lot over there. Yeah, like they said, bombs over Baghdad, right? Yo, he might be the cartel. He might be the cartel. I would hope so, because if the cartel is sitting there apologizing while the president is talking gangster, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on in the world, right? So let me show this last thing before anybody come on. And if you come on, it's all good, but just wait a second, you know what I'm saying? All right. So check this out, right? And this is something else, right? Because we was talking about friends and, you know what I'm saying? We was talking about the West Arabs. So we can also mention the East Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? And what they trying to do over in Africa, just to mention this, you know what I'm saying? And this is going on in Black nations, and no matter where you are, we see what's going on in Black areas and Black nations. So let me just play this.
On social media, a video of another racist attack on Black migrants in Tunisia. Such attacks are prohibited by law, but rights groups say they're condoned by the country's president.
Yo, tell me, how is they not the same, right? He's a East Mexican, right? or they're just the West Arabs. I don't know. I'm confused at this point. And then they get mad at me because I get them confused, right? They were like, "Oh no, we not Hawaiian. We are Pacific Islander." Like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? You all the same thing. It's all the same. You're a mixed group of people who are lost among yourselves, right? And I'm only saying that because they try to diss me, right? But it's true though. It is true, because this is the type of stuff that y'all doing. This is the mindset that y'all have, where it's disrespectful if somebody say something to you, but it's not if you say something to somebody else, right? But no, forget all that. We make our own rules. We can say what we want. We can do what we want. And what we say goes at this point. So this is what you're going to have to deal with, though.
On social media, a video of another racist attack on black migrants in Tunisia. Such attacks are prohibited by law, but rights groups say they're condoned by the country's president. Last week, Kais Saied said, quote, hordes of sub-Saharan Africans were changing the demographic makeup of the country, sparking racist attacks throughout the nation. This is what is left of one black woman's home after it was ransacked. Black men and women say they are arbitrarily rounded up by police because of the color of their skin.
We really need help from all over the world because we are really suffering.
Yeah, and the problem, though, Jack Law, is every other group, like Filipino can't be no Chinese, right? They'll be mad if you call them that, but they all under that Stop Asian Hate bill, right? All Hispanics ain't Mexican, but he's sitting there saying all Hispanics. I don't know if that include Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that include, right? But the difference is, right, they don't care if they're dramatic, Jew, shyster, you know what I'm saying? They don't care if they're, you know, whatever, when it comes down to you and controlling your reason, because you the one it got living in the places that's nice. Like, if you ever noticed, black people live in like tropical, beautiful areas, and then the areas is like nice, but it's just like a bunch of poverty, bro. Like, that's not even normal. That's not even how most of life's history has gone. So now it's time for you to realize that you have no friends. And this goes to, you know what I'm saying, sometimes our mulatto friends don't, and this is not everybody, but I'm saying this is a group of people that's like that. And this is how they feel when it comes to your stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is the East Mexicans.
Arbitrarily rounded up by police because of the color of their skin.
We really need help from all over the world because we are really suffering here.
Hundreds of Ivorians and Guineans are now being repatriated, some injured and unable to walk after the beatings.
We live in fear. People are scared to go out, even those that have the right paperwork. And for those that don't have visas, they get thrown out on the spot.
So they got their slave papers. They still scared to go outside. You know, it sounds familiar. And I wonder why the darker you are, like the worse you, I don't know. It's almost like it's a global phenomenon, right?
Don't have visas, they get thrown out on the spot.
Many of them were hoping to make it to Europe. Most African migrants from Senegal and West Africa are not fleeing war, but poverty. But Europeans don't want them on their continent and have signed agreements with North African countries like Tunisia to stop them from crossing the Mediterranean.
What do you mean, consequences like poor drinking water and poor schools and poor infrastructure and, you know, inflation that's driving you out of the market? And I mean, I don't know, like, you know, what consequences are you talking about? You are, you know, being able to somebody have you shot down by the police, state sanctioned murder. I don't know. What else do you expect? Like, you know what I'm saying, is going to happen for you saying, hey, let's get together and find a way to like come up with a solution. Maybe is there something we can invent that can get around like creating whole sewer systems and a dozen septic tanks? Maybe we can put our money into like creating some kind of filter, right? That'll develop something, or some kind of way to boil it and clean it or something, you know. But that's unless you want to go move out into, you know what I'm saying, somewhere else and try to assimilate and hope that their water stays cleanest the longest, and then hope that they don't like run you off of their land when you do it, by the way. So that's what I'm saying. Cause that's what I'm saying, Erica. Why do we take it with a smile? Because that's just what we do, you know.
According to aid agencies, there are 30 to 50,000 African.
Yeah, but the Arabs run the country though, and that's the crazy part. I don't know what's going on, but the Arabs run the country, considering, right? And maybe it came from like, hey, yeah, you know, these mixed race people are one of us. Let's let them in, and then hey, I don't know. It's just a theory. That's just my theory, but no, it's the Arabs that's saying that Africans are making them a black nation. Right, I don't even know how that sounds. African country Tunisia is saying that we don't want black Africans to come here because they're trying to change the demographic to a black demographic, and it's the Arabs saying this, and they were saying like the president was signing off on that, and since then there's been an increase in hate crimes. You know,
are prohibited by law, but rights groups say they're condoned by the country's.
I'll run it without saying like that.
On social media, a video of another racist attack on black migrants in Tunisia. Such attacks are prohibited by law, but rights groups say they're condoned by the country's president. Last week, Kais Saied said, quote, hordes of sub-Saharan Africans were changing the demographic makeup of the country, sparking racist attacks throughout the nation. This is what is left of one black woman's home after it was ransacked. Black men and women say they are arbitrarily rounded up by police because of the color of their skin.
We really need help from all over the world because we are really suffering here.
Hundreds of Ivorians and Guineans are now being repatriated, some injured and unable to walk after the beatings.
We live in fear. People are scared to go out, even those that have the right paperwork. And for those that don't have visas, they get thrown out on the spot.
Many of them were hoping to make it to Europe. Most African migrants from Senegal and West Africa are not fleeing war, but poverty. But Europeans don't want them on their continent and have signed...
Wait, say that one more time. Say that one more time, Arab dude.
But Europeans don't want them on their continent and have signed agreements with North African countries.
And they're saying this while they're on your continent. This is happening on your continent. And you're leaving your continent to go to some damn Europeans who don't want you on their continent. Because there was also another video of a Ukrainian immigrant saying there's too many black people in Britain, right? I didn't come here to see a bunch of black people, right? And they had their kid in a majority black and Asian school. But I didn't even play that one. But I'm gonna play that one more time just for y'all who thinking y'all can move away from black towns and black cities to get away from the water issues. And those of you who want to move away from your stuff to escape and try to run away from your problems and move around Europeans for them to come and save you. This is what they're saying to you globally, because they've understood how they have white on white crime. Don't get me twisted. They're going to fight each other until they wipe each other out of existence, right? Because obviously you ain't going to do nothing to anybody, right? But what they have learned to do was put their tribal differences aside and unite under whiteness when it came to you, right? And that's what every group, they all just agreed on this. And you still sitting there talking about people of color and our friends, like, because with the water, all we talked about, and people of color, let's include the Indians who enslaved us. Let's include the Asians who try to come after us all the time. Right now, literally going after litigation against us, even though it's white people that's trying to play them, right? Let's include these East Arabs and these West Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do.
Don't want them on their continent.
Yeah, I agree with you. But, you know, let's not forget that in South Africa, there is an all-white town, right? And also, let's not forget in the blackest town in America, there is about to be a white district, all-white another sundown town. And just in the blackest part of what is known to be America, right? So, yeah, this is definitely Africa, but I'm not sure whose country it is no more.
But Europeans don't want them on their continent and have signed agreements with North African countries like Tunisia to stop them from crossing the Mediterranean. According to aid agencies, there are 30 to 50,000 African migrants living in Tunisia illegally. Tunisian rights activist Miriam Mastour says They are mistreated and do menial jobs that Tunisians don't want to do. She says she and her husband have also experienced abuse.
So racism has a long history in Tunisia.
Now listen, all right, the color, I don't even want to bring it up. So colorism is a whole nother argument, but I'm not going to even get into that because that's a whole nother argument, and then y'all really going to be mad about that part of it. But that lightning of, oh man.
Against black people, even if black people are like 10 or 15% of the population. Now, people in Tunisia are in a social and economic crisis. So the president, he uses black people as a scapegoat.
Tunisians are out on the streets denouncing the attacks, holding signs saying Tunisians come in all colors. It's not only a reminder of the diverse.
Tunisians come in all colors. It's not on. This is what I'm telling you, Cassandra. Tunisia is diverse. They come in all colors. It's the diversity of these African nations, right? The diversity in the leadership positions, especially.
In all colors. It's not.
Yo, what's up, Amani Tanzan, Amani Dada. Shouts out to Tanzan in the building.
Only a reminder of the diversity of the country, but a call for unity in the face of growing bigotry and division. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera.
All right, yeah, so ain't that something, right? All right, and then, okay, so I'll do this last thing here. So U.S. gives a final warning to Uganda. All right, so check this out, y'all. So we've been paying attention. They found the gold and stuff like this, and now they worrying about the gay thing, you know what I'm saying? Unless
the world.
And now they're worrying about and they're going to try to make them accept homosexuality or quote unquote not receive aid anymore. And we already know what this is about. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go into a deep dive into this, but the question is, again, what are you going to do? Because I can be like, I don't know what to tell you here, but I do know what to tell you. Just like I know what to tell you when it comes to the water, but I don't know what to tell you when y'all keep sitting here telling me that, I don't know what to do. Not y'all particularly, but we've seen examples of that. As Raw would say, the kids who play with the big crown. And I say kids, Raw, this time. The kids who play with the big crowns, you know what I'm saying? But U.S. is giving them a final warning. So check this out.
What I can tell you about steps the United States might take in response is that we are undertaking a review of our relationship with Uganda in light of this decision.
But Museveni remains unperturbed.
The outsiders cannot dictate to us. This is our country. This is our society. This is our future. It is not anybody's future. The outsiders will have to live with us, or if they don't want, they take their aid, and we shall. Uganda is very rich. We don't need aid.
He's like, we're good. We don't need your aid. He's like, we're very, very rich. We got a mountain full. And that goes back to that question I was asking on the last one. I don't know if it was the last one or the one before that, but when black people get something and then they start showing it off, who in the hell are you showing it off for? Why are you telling everybody if you have something and that's a valuable resource and you don't necessarily have a way to manufacture it right now, shut your damn mouth. Shut the hell up, right? Find a way to manufacture it on the low. And then when you're ready to bring some on the world, then you talk about it. But don't just run your mouth, because who the hell are you trying to impress? Is this your ticket to get into those European countries? Because they might take the rock from you and tell you, get the hell up out of here, Negro. Or they might come to your city and build a inner city within your city and tell you, get out of here, Negro. This is where the resources are, right? But what do you think is going to happen once you keep blabbering and running your damn mouth all the time? It don't make no sense.
Around the world. What I can tell you about steps the United States might take in response is that we are undertaking a review of our relationship with Uganda in light of this decision.
But Museveni remains unperturbed.
The outsiders cannot dictate.
Yeah, they play the same as like everybody too, if you pay attention.
They dictate to us. This is our country. This is our society. This is our future. It's not anybody's future.
You said what, Bwana? Who's too arrogant to know the difference? He was once pro-West, but now has lived long enough to see his deeds coming back to haunt him. Yeah, well, welcome to the club. He can grab his T-shirt and, you know what I'm saying, sit along with the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to play it one more time, and then hold on, I'm going to play it because I got to do something real quick. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Tanzan. There's no such thing as free money. It all comes with chains, right? The same chains that we've been having.
Around the world. What I can tell you about steps the United States might take in response is that we are undertaking a review of our relationship with Uganda in light of this decision.
But Museveni remains unperturbed.
The outsiders cannot dictate to us. This is our country. This is our society. This is our future. It is not anybody's future. The outsiders will have to live with us, or if they don't want, they take their aid, and we shall. Uganda is very rich. We don't need aid. In fact, aid is part of the problem.
All right, so he said we don't need your aid as part of the problem. Bwana say he needs to shut up. Uganda, Constituents say Uganda is sticking to their guns. Hopefully, you know, we let everybody take our ish all over the world. Yeah, facts, Bakari. It's the era of change most people can't see. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's what it is. But the well has definitely been poisoned. Maybe it's the damn water. You know what I'm saying? That got us on this people of color stuff. Maybe if we start purifying our water, we'll get back to our senses and realize who our enemies are. But right now, I don't think we know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think that we are tripping. I'll put the link in the chat because that's all I wanted to show as far as anything serious. You know what I'm saying? I do want to show one last thing, but I was going to let it be the closing. But I'll let it do this while I give y'all a chance to come on, if y'all want to come on. And talk about anything that we talked about with the water issue. Of course, what we just saw with Uganda or the Mexico thing, how the cartel sat up there and apologized, right? How the cartel sat up there and apologized, and the president was like, "No, we want war." You know what I'm saying? He was not about that apology. So while I do the last thing, while I give anybody who want to come on a chance. All right, Bakari say he's going to come up in 5 minutes. I got to kind of troll a little bit. I'm going to lose y'all with this one. I'm saying we are the same, but I don't think that we are the same, in my opinion. I think that we are something different. And I was showing y'all stuff about how different we are. You know what I'm saying? That we are two different things. So this has nothing to do with anything I played earlier. But check this out. Listen to what this dude said.
Did you try it even yet?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Well, you're just anti
I'm not
leg
black.
washes.
I'm not going to wash my legs and feet.
You think that's just a black people thing?
Clearly.
Well, and he's
the only one here who took the day off. Washes his legs and feet. No, I don't think it's a black thing. I think using a washcloth is for poor people, but I don't think that washing your legs and feet is for black people.
I agree. I think the washcloth is a poor person thing. Because
I've only met poors who use them. I've never.
Yeah, see, this has to go with, you know, I guess the water issue. They don't use it enough. Now, this brother tried to and
the
this
black card.
I'm only playing this right to give Bakari some time to get on. And I got, you know, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not mature enough yet. I haven't matured enough. But this brother sat up here and tried to find a reason. Maybe he drank enough water to try to find a reason to K for him. Listen to this dude.
Has found a new thing to be upset about. Today, they're upset over this particular joke.
your foot down and then it's all slippery because there's soap on there. And there's soap on the shower. So I'm opposed to it still.
Okay.
Ta-ta there, retard.
Well, did you try it even yet?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Well, you're just anti
I'm not
leg
black.
washes.
I'm not going to wash my legs and feet.
You think that's just a black people thing?
Clearly,
Well, and he's
the only one here who took the day off washes his legs and feet. No, I don't think it's a black thing. I think using a washcloth is for poor people, but I
Yeah.
don't think that washing your legs and feet is for black people.
I agree. I think the washcloth is a poor person.
Yo, I'm so
No, even this dude, he wants to get his coon and all, but a certain thing about black culture is not gonna let you be a Mobutu, but so far. That's how you know what I'm saying, the difference, right? You ain't gonna be but so much of a Mobutu. So he know that he uses washcloths, and that's something that's just a genetic difference, yo. Like, we're not gonna act like it's not a difference.
poor. I can't even tell you the alternative to not using a washcloth. Like, what's the alternative? I'm about to
Tanzania, we tried to teach them for like the last 700 years, and they still haven't learned how to wash their legs. That's all I'm saying.
show y'all how bloodthirsty and eager people are to be.
And the brother tried to say it ain't no differences. I'm telling you, culture, mindset, skeleton, DNA. How much evidence do you need?
Victims. Like, how black folks love to be victims. Just comment yes if you ever heard a black person say white folks smell like outside. Just comment yes if you've.
Now this dude tripping. No black person is mad about this. Like y'all, like us, like just like, what the hell are they talking about? You don't take baths? That's disgusting. That's the only thing black people have been saying. But he's trying to say that we're complaining about it. But yeah, they do smell like outside.
Ever heard a black person say when it rained, white folks smell like pennies? But it's not racist because the systematic oppression.
Because they
created a
really
system
do
that's
smell
meant
like pennies when it be raining. That's why it's not racist.
Now, a good race joke can never hurt nobody unless it's towards black folks because our ancestors built this country. We've been down for way too long. Likes.
Yo, and that's not even a joke that I'm offended by. He's like, oh, black people use washcloth. Yeah, we take showers and baths, and like we wash our legs and our feet and our whole body when we get in the shower. Like, we don't, like, the whole family use one bar of soap, you know what I'm saying, and just only their soap and use their hand to wash with their face. Like, that's like, I don't understand that one.
Retweets, quote tweets. Just tweet out white folks don't use washcloth, right? That's how you get some cheap engagement.
I just saw a video and instantly got annoyed. I had to jump on the video chat.
Now, this is when Taylor Swift said it, like Ashton Kutcher and that other girl he be messing with said it. You know, they don't take baths, you know what I'm saying? And they only take baths when they are visibly dirty, like months in between. I don't know.
Now, listen, I didn't know white people was out here not bathing. Oh my God. White people for the ones that this pertains to.
Yo, what up, Sankar? Yo, you missed the important part of the show. In Tanzania, you kind of missed the important part. I'm kind of giving y'all time if y'all want to come on here. I just wanted to talk about this too.
You've got to get that ass in some full water with some soap and a washcloth. Okay, like my grandma used to say, y'all always smell like outside, like cut grass and shit. Now I know why. It's too hot out here for that shit. You walking around with 5 layers of dead skin because you refuse to exfoliate. Your puss is sweat. It has a...
You don't get to create the stereotype. Assign a stereotype to a particular group of people and then get upset when they adopt the stereotype that you created. What type of logic is that?
Nobody's mad. We're saying like, yo, why are you not taking baths, bro? Like, yo, wash your legs. And this dude sitting here trying to find a reason. Like, nobody's mad at that. If they want to, you know, die from like not taking baths and have another dark plague, that's on them. If they want to have another black plague, that's on them. I just encourage other black people, like, don't be like the Moors, man. Don't teach them, you know what I'm saying? Let them throw the baby out with the bathwater. Learn from the Moors' mistake, right? That's all I'm saying.
Tom Segura responded back after his clip from a month ago is resurfacing today. It is garnering backlash and black tears. Well, he responded back.
Okay, that's what's up, Tanzania.
So I've received a remarkable number of messages over the last few days from just countless poor people about the use of a washcloth in the shower. And, you know, it's kind of well known.
Yeah, so he showed a dirty washcloth, but probably was real because he probably ain't took a shower in months.
To it. In 2020, if you troll or laugh at something that black folks were upset about, you got canceled, right? Because we were at the height of racial tensions in 2020. Right now in 2023, bro, we've been so desensitized to it.
But why is it always a black person sitting here to defend anything like this? He uses a washcloth. So why is he trying to even defend something like this? That's my real question here in all of this. There's going to be a black person who will defend them not using washcloths and come at black people for like yo, that's nasty. And I get what you're saying, Buwana. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't care, but a lot of us will say that, you know what I'm saying, maybe a white woman can have a black child. I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. Rob might be right.
That it really has no impact.
But what's going on with the brothers here, though?
At all.
With this
like, y'all can cry about whatever y'all want to cry about on social media.
All right, so let me see. All right, this is the last thing I'm going to show. All right. I forgot what this was anyway. Oh, yeah, listen to this. It's not just in one situation. She went to Switzerland. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so we're here in Switzerland, and one thing that surprised me is that in their bathrooms, they don't have any washcloths. None. Really nice shower, though. But they give you the hand towels, you get regular towels, but no body washcloths.
I mean, European culture for you, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, we can integrate though, so we can stop using washcloths if that's okay with y'all. And let's look at this. Like, they was like, what is a washcloth if it shows it? They don't use them. They don't know what a washcloth is. Why use a washcloth? Oh, this is offensive that you use washcloths. Yeah, reading the comments. I see we have some Neanderthals in the house, and that's really what I'm saying here, man. Y'all let Neanderthals control your water system here. It's disgusting. He said he used washcloths though, Bakari. He was like, he even said, I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. So what is this brother doing? You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, I'm about to get out of here. I'll let if nobody want to come on here, I'll get out of here. But one thing I do want to let this brother have the last word, who also had the first word, you know what I'm saying? And this is what's going on in our cities, in our city councils, and I guess this brother put it on. All right, yo, what up, Bakari?
What's going on, man?
Not much, chilling. What's going on?
Oh man, I was just about to go use me a washcloth when I shower. I listened to them white folks. I decided that ain't even a good idea. I don't need to use no washcloth. Wash my legs and all that stuff. Putting your body in that water, messing your body up. Yeah. That man, shit, what's going on though?
Not much. Washcloths is for poor people, bro. So
yeah. Look, man.
but you want to let them come into your towns. That's all I'm saying. Like, the offspring of these is like the mulatto groups who come in and be like, mulattoes is not what's up. Oh snap, Tanzania in the building.
But
Hi.
I heard. What's up, Tanzania?
Oh, Amani, Amani, Brother Bakari, Ndigo Focused. How are you all?
Good.
Yeah, good. It's been a minute.
Yes, yes, you did. Go ahead, Brother Bakari. Sorry to interrupt.
I heard them Africans talking, man. Look, man, we got to stop complaining about people whooping our ass. I'm just being honest. Black folks gonna have to whoop some ass, man. You got to stop complaining about people treating you bad. Like, God damn. It's like we the world's whooping board, man. Everybody can kick our ass and we figure out a way. Then you're gonna find some people to figure out a way to make it be our fault. Like, God, like I'm talking, you're gonna find black people to figure out a way to make it be our fault. Man, we got to stop doing that, man. We just can't keep complaining. Like, God damn, they do this to us and they do that to us. It's so racist. And like, God damn, man, that shit has gotten old for real. It's like sad looking shit. Go ahead, Tanzania. She fell off.
Yeah, she just dropped off. I'm pretty sure she probably come right back. But yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, there she go.
Oh, sorry. I accidentally hit the wrong button. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, you hear
Can
me,
you hear me?
Tanzan?
Yeah,
She
we
must.
can
Hmm.
man.
Okay,
She
let me
can.
try to come back again. I don't know what happened there. I can't hear you at all. I'll come back. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Tanzan come back in a second, but yeah, Bakari. What do you think about? Well, I'll wait till Tanzan come before I ask you that. But
And we still trying to figure out a way to make people be nice to you, to be nice to us. Figure out a way to make the world say we are all friends. Man, ain't nobody your friends. Just like these so-called socialist groups here, they for all poor people. Let's just forget how the poor people did, how the poor white folks. Those are the ones that was attacking and killing and raping. Let's forget about that. Let's just say all poor people come together. Some folks, oh, it's all the Jews. Oh, the Jews made them do it. Ain't no man, we stop giving other people passes all the damn time for every damn thing. Is it?
yeah, Tanzan, you can hear me now.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Ah, cool. Yeah. So I had the earlier stories, and that was, man, like Brother Bakari is saying, sometimes it's like this has been going on for too long, and yet we're still surprised. Because I remember, was it last year we were talking about the water crisis, and it seems as if it's firstly it's getting worse, and it's all these towns. It's not just one. It's like so many of them, and you wonder how people are even living, because it's one thing not to have certain things in life, but however poor, however desperate you are, water is life. There's no way around that. There's no way to. And then water is not just for drinking. Imagine you have to wash your hands with dirty water. Like, at that point, do you even wash your hands? Anyway, so it just seems so. I don't know when especially people will get it, that they really just don't care. They would rather go spend money somewhere else, getting people that they don't know, who haven't been here, who don't know anything. They don't know anything about them, and just bring them here, give them everything, and they're your people in the backyard who are suffering. Like, I mean, well, people will see it, and maybe they won't. But yeah, that's that's the unfortunate reality. And when it comes to this, let's not even go, talking about it, because they'll pretend, oh, it's for poor people, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll go right ahead and copy it. They make fun of us, and then they emulate us. So no, we shouldn't even, if they don't know, they leave them, that way. Just say, yes, this is bad. It is for poor people. It's for ignorant people. Only stupid people wash their feet and, their hands and so on. Yeah, don't worry about it. Whoever you are, yeah, go back to your rich world, and then don't worry about what we do. And people who want to teach them, and like, hey, I can't believe this is why. Just leave them alone. So but when it comes to the water crisis, and I say crisis plural, I think the only way, and I don't even know if that's a solution, but maybe some people will start to have to leave those towns and go somewhere else, even though I really don't know if there are other places. But sometimes that might be what might have to happen, especially go to their areas. I would think this. See, it's mostly the black areas that have this water problems. So and it's difficult to be there. So just sponsor a few people to go rent or live or somewhere, occupy the places nearby where they have the good water. And then once you get close to the good water, okay, let's say there's 5 of you in a neighborhood with all bad water, right? So you all decide, oh, let's go buy, put in money, all 5 of us put in money and buy a house in one of those good water areas, right? And then, you start all moving, one by one slowly into the houses. Yes, it will be cramped and all that. You might have to share for a bit, but hey, you're getting access to good water. So the 4 of you can still stay in the bad water area while one person in the good water area shares their water, with other people. And then, just little by little. Anyway, that's the only thing I can think of, because the other option is to wait for, I wouldn't even wait on the government. They've already shown what they care about. But the other option is to wait for the Black people in the Black areas to sort out the bad water problems, which that might take some time. Or, to start, putting, having a stake in the good areas, and then that will also make them do something about, the bad water. Anyway, okay, that's that's me for today.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and before I pass it to St. Carl, let me ask you: do you have any thoughts on Tunisia and Uganda?
Oh man, yes, I didn't want to be too long because I know I can. Okay, well, it's like this. Yeah, they are on the continent, but they're not continental. So it's the same thing everywhere. We, like Dr. John Henry Clark said, we have no friends on the continent and outside. So it's the same thing going on everywhere. It's not a surprise. And the interesting thing is that when you talk to the Africans, they're not saying the R word. They rarely say the R word, which to me is still something that needs to be learned. But anyway, that was my shot on that one. And then the Uganda one, just forget the aid. Aid brings AIDS. That's what you get. So leave the aid alone. Keep your dignity, keep your men, women, and children, keep your communities, keep your social life, keep your music, your customs, keep the good things that make you, Ugandan and Black and African and proud and beautiful. Keep those. They can keep their aid and AIDS. So, yeah.
Yo, fact, AIDS bring AIDS. Yo, what up, St. Carl?
Hey, what's up, Forecast? Bakari and Tanzan. Yeah, it's just frustrating, Why is it that Black folks are so needful of other people treat us? Why do you feel the need to have other people treat you a certain way or not? Why, it's just. And I know Bakari talked about this too with the whole Jackson, Mississippi situation. I was looking at TikTok, and a lot of people, I look at the little videos, and you got folks, oh my God, it's Jim Crow's coming back. You got people crying. You got people just, I can't believe it. Can you believe it? Can y'all believe? Yes. Like we can believe. Why is that so, it's like, they bought into the idea of this, the notion of this country having standards of justice, equality, and all that because in 3rd grade somebody told them somebody made a speech about a dream without looking at the history of every European nation the last 5,000 at least years. When have they ever portrayed any type of justice, even-handed dealing, fairness, any of that? We've never seen any of that. Why is our people still expecting that to come somewhere down the road? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's 2023, right? I can't believe.
I don't know. They don't know, I guess.
Yo, so Bakari, do you got any thoughts on the water thing or the thing that happened in Mexico?
First, on the water thing, man, look, they're attacking us through the water. Like Rwanda put in the thing is environmental racism, environmental bigotry. I know you will find people that's gonna say it's poor folks, it's classism. No, it's Black folk who they constantly attacking, who they are constantly attacking through the water. So we're gonna have to figure something out. We got to figure out a way to fight back. in all honesty. We can't just sit, we wait for the people who's doing everything to kill you. Then they're gonna give you a bottle of water and say everything gonna be okay. But like the song I like to play, it might not be okay. We got to understand who we fucking with. Pardon my French. And by the way, what's up, Sankar? You know, and that's the problem. We don't want to understand. We still reaching our hands out. Every time you reach your hand out, they cut a hand off. So we get some people to reach their hand off, they cut their hand off. We get some more people to reach their hand out, they cut their hand off. And we still living. Just think about this, man. What Sankara said. Why, in our mind, we want people to treat us a certain way. I'm going to tell you something. Just think about this. Even in the mind of people in this country that say they're socialists, even in their fantasy mind, they can't have anything black in charge. They have to follow a white person with that. Oh yeah, I'm a Marxist. They can't think of anything black to follow, even in a fantasy.
I know.
Even in a fantasy, they can't follow anything black. And I see a major problem with that. And I'm gonna say this before I go, and before I hear the mic, and I know Tanzania, a lot of my people don't like when I say this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Uganda need that Idi Amin spirit right now. Because I bet you nobody be in Uganda trying to tell Idi Amin what he need to do. I bet you that.
Yep.
Would nobody be telling him what he need to do. This is my country. This is our country.
Well, yeah. Well, it turns out if you want to, respond to that, you can if you want to.
Look, this is how I look at it. And yes, we have disagreed on it and we shall continue. But for me, we are not in a Batman and Batman versus Joker world. This is, people have, the best men have weaknesses and the worst men have, redeeming qualities. So I'm not saying that Idi Amin was the worst. He was the best at what he did, but I'm not going to criticize his whole character. I think we have already talked about that. What I will say is this, that even we saw the strength that he had, we saw the pride that he had, we saw that despite everything and despite a lot of things that he was wrong about, in that instance of demanding your dignity, he was completely correct. I don't disagree about that. When it comes to him, he gave the pride back in the blacks, and they felt that they were able to not just be told what to do, but to assert their right to do what to do. Now we're only in a position to say no, but we're not in a position to say this is how it's going to be. Well, to some extent. But with him, he not only said that about the people, he told people, when you come in, you have to show respect. Not just, oh, don't do anything bad to us, show respect. And that is something that has rarely been seen. So, in that instance, yes, you have to demand respect. People are not just going to give you respect. People are not just going to, oh yeah, no, everybody has to demand that respect. If people just expect people to like you, yeah, being liked is nice and fun and childish. But if you're a grown person, if you're an adult, you should be respected, for who you are as a person, first of all. So, yeah.
Hey, Tanzan. So let me ask you something else too. I don't know if you saw the thing with that happened in Mexico. Do you have any thoughts on that?
On that one, I don't have enough information. I only had it, today from you, so I don't really know what happened. I know that there's a number of people who were kidnapped. I think some of them lost their lives, and there was an apology by the, by the criminal organization, and there was a strong stance by the government. So I don't know enough. That's all I know from it, but I can't really speak with knowledge on it for now. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's why I didn't get too deep on it. I feel you, because I ain't want to get too deep on the case. I just thought it was funny. The cartel had a PR and was apologizing, but the president wasn't. Yo, Bakar, you want to say something before I pass it to Sankar? Because I did ask you about that part too. You know,
President might be cartel.
he might be.
The president might be the real cartel. And look, and what Tanzan just said, see, Tanzan finally understood what I be saying when I talk about Idi Amin. Because that's all I be talking about. See, she finally understood when I mentioned Idi Amin. That's what I talk about right there. But that's it.
All right, yeah, Sankar, you want to say anything about anything?
About the Mexican thing?
Yeah, about anything we were just saying.
Anything? Yeah, I haven't followed too much about what's going on with that. I just, in general, I just know people tend to exploit black folks and abuse because they know they can get away with it. Because in their mind, they're like, what y'all gonna do about it? Because for so long, we haven't. So they feel they can do whatever. We haven't put in place any type of structure to protect ourselves. We look at ourselves as part of other communities instead of having our own community, and then we get left out in the cold. But Africa is interesting right now. I know you guys mentioned Uganda and such. I like the way some of the leaders are speaking now. They're saying the right things. Now, what they're doing sometimes is a different discussion, but I think it's showing right now Africa's a really hot. That's a hot situation right now on the continent all over because the people are on edge, and I think something's going to give. I think that the leaders are speaking this way because their people are done. The people are they're too woke up. I hate to use that term, but they're too cognizant of what's going on with being exploited for their resources to where they have to speak on things like colonization and things like that. But they have to start doing the right things. Burkina Faso is another hot spot right now. They're bringing in the Russian troop, trying to partner up with Russia to deal with Boko Haram. I don't know if it's Boko Haram, but one of those militant Islamic, groups that are killing the people over there. They're trying to make little moves, and it's like all over. They're trying to change the dynamic, but they're not. But they still have to do like what you guys were talking about, Idi Amin. They have to be strong enough to take a stand and refuse to cooperate. Because what I see happening is they'll say that, but then tomorrow they'll have somebody at a bargaining table from outside, about giving out what they can give out, and like he said, aid or whatever. I mean, they shouldn't even be allowed to be. Why are you even allowing them in the country, shaking their hands and stuff when you know what they're doing? And they're gonna have to sever those kind of ties. That's the next step over there. But yeah, it's hot in Africa right now. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and like Tanzan said, aid will give you AIDS. I need to put that on a t-shirt all day. But so look, let me do this. Because I'm gonna let y'all give y'all closing statements, but I want to get y'all opinion about like city council meetings, because we know Flint was the beginning of the water crisis thing. And I showed the brother earlier, you know what I'm saying? And he is getting in a lot of trouble for calling out city councils now. Like when we talk about like leadership and all of these subjects, I just want to kind of get y'all opinion on like how this brother is like carrying himself within city meetings. And I guess he's trying to like clean up the city of Flint. And we know that's like one of the first places we heard about this water issue. So let me play just some of this part.
An answer. You know that man was asking somebody for oral sex. It's been all on the news. And I don't like police chiefs. Well, I disagree with what you just stated. You didn't ever hear that? I disagree with what you just stated. You made it sound like a fact, and you don't know that. You say I made it sound like a fact. I said it was all on the news that they were talking about Booth and all sex. That a lady right there on Channel 12, Miss Dawes, who I think ran it and then put the complaint on the Channel 12 website. And I'm saying you the chief.
I don't
and
care.
You
I
didn't
don't
know
care
that was
who's in here.
Right, I can't
You
finish
asked the
my
question,
talking.
I
What
answered.
you so if you angry because I'm bringing it up?
No, I'm angry
Okay,
because
then go and talk to the cows. Come on.
I
when
will.
you finish, I'll talk
you always accuse of someone of cover up. The only person that covers up anything is you. You don't even be convicted of covering up anything.
What am I covering up? The mic is yours. Am I covering up a
Chairman,
girlfriend? Am I covering up a dope? What am I covering up that you just accused me of publicly? What am I covering up? Go ahead. The mic is yours. See, Chief, you discrediting yourself in front of me. I think you're a liar to say I'm going to cover up. You the police. Tell this public what you accusing me of covering up. Is it dope? Is it girls? Is it, because I can talk about some of what I think you don't want to come out. So go ahead. You said it with a frown on your face. You the big man. Tell this public and council, I'm asking you respectfully, what am I covering up? Or you just said that to try to defame or discredit me? Because I said you knew about the Booth case. Go ahead, don't get quiet now. You was out talking me. What are you alleging that I'm covering up, Chief?
Mr. Mesa.
Now listen, with this case here, like now this dude is kind of funny, right? And the only reason I'm showing this is for one reason, right? Because this is in Flint, Michigan. And the city is like, yo, messed up. The city council is messed up. The police chief, that's the police chief right there, you know what I'm saying? And they got a lot of corruption and stuff going on. And this dude, they try to put him out there, like try to make him sound like he's crazy. But he's like, I guess from the looks of it, from the outside, maybe somebody who lived there could give me a better whatever. But it looked like he's trying to clean it up, but it doesn't really work, you know what I'm saying? And the overall thing I'm kind of asking you is like Black run organizations, cities, nations, you know what I'm saying? Like how, like, I don't know how to put it as a question, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that's going on with Black led nations and cities, like what do you think is going on with that? I guess I go with who came, Bakari, then Tanzania, then Sankara, and you know, we'll close up.
I don't know why that handkerchief head Negro trying to make that brother look bad up there. He seemed from the outside looking in like somebody that live in the area, and they probably don't like the fact that he frequents city council meetings and other meetings to know what's going on in the city, and he know what's going on. And they don't like that, so the police chief tried to discredit him. Then he made the police chief shut up. I mean, he said, tell me what I'm hiding. And the police was quiet as a mouse in a tomcat house because he didn't have nothing on that brother. But we need more of us in these meetings or whatever they are. We need more, not just one. We needed whatever city you said they were in Flint, they needed thousands of him. They needed thousands of him getting ready to speak, getting ready to talk, standing there with him toe to toe. We need thousands of Black men like that when they go in the meeting saying this gonna change it. We letting them know y'all gonna fix this, and we got to make it happen. That's how it got to be. It can't be one speaking. It got to be thousands of us together, standing strong and ready to do whatever. I hear the mic.
All right. What about you, Tanzania?
Yeah, he seems like a very, very courageous man, very impassioned, and you know, I hope he can get it done. The only thing is sometimes, you know, these people, they're very sneaky, and you have to watch them, especially when they get quiet, you know. So yeah, but it's good that he got that he dumbfounded him. So, you know, the problem is not the quietness, is you know, what he's going to be, you know, up to later. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of the work is done in the background. So, yeah, I hope he's also doing his work in the background and also, keeping some things to himself. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, he was confounded. Sankar,
What's that guy's name?
the brother Eric Mays, I think.
Yeah, okay. I think that's the guy. I think I saw him on I think I saw Vicky Dillard talking about him one day. Yeah, that guy's hilarious. I love that guy. He's not afraid to hold them accountable. He's talking to them like they're a bunch of scumbags, and he's not looking at them as a person of moral authority. Therefore, I'm going to be timid in how I speak to them. He's speaking to them as to what they are, and there's not a comeback for that, as you saw. So we need, like Bakari said, we need more people that's not afraid to say the truth and say what it really is to these people, because people need to hear that, and those people in those positions need to know that you can be checked like that, and you can be exposed like that, and we're not afraid to say that we know what's really going on and how corrupt things are. They need to hear that more from real people, so they don't feel like they can get away with what they get away with.
Yeah, facts, and yeah, I salute the brother. He's funny, but I think that he calls him out. I think that more people need to call him out. If you think he's too funny or you need to be serious, then you go do it. But I appreciate it. But I think the well has definitely been poisoned, you know what I'm saying, and the water issue. And this leads to greater issues like health issues and, the cancers and the diabetes and all of this stuff in our community. We should be pissed off that our moms and our grandmas is dying at such a young age, and all of our stuff is being taken. And hopefully, Erica will be able to come on and talk about her story. Hopefully, Matron will be in the building. She can come on and talk about it. The medical industry, because all of this stuff ties in together. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have good water is like the key to everything. That's one of the building blocks of life. And if you can't even get clean water, obviously your health is going to be deteriorated. And maybe that's what's going on with a lot of mental illness that we see, especially in our communities, where we get crazier and crazier every day. So who knows? Maybe we can blame it on the water, but I don't know. So I'll go around and let everybody give their final statements. My brother Bakari, I'm going to try to put y'all channels in the chat too.
Thanks for letting me come up here and speak. It was good being on the panel again with Tanzan. I don't know, she act like she done got mad with folks because I call them tethers and whatnot, but I just be clowning Tanzan. And it was good to be up here with Sankara. Hey, look, y'all check us out tomorrow. Let me see if Bwana gonna hold his word. It's gonna be 7:30-ish, 8-ish, but on Friday, at least a couple Fridays a month. We're gonna be talking about Black people in sports. We're gonna talk about boxing tomorrow as well, but we're gonna start off with Curt Flood. And if you know anything about sports, when you see these sports and you see them with free agency, someone is a free agent getting these big contracts, that was because of a Black man named Curt Flood who stood his ground. Whatever team drafted you in Major League Baseball, but it was all sports, whatever team drafted you, that was the team you had to play with your whole career, unless they didn't want you no more. They could trade you or they could cut you, but you couldn't leave on your own. And he was at a town and he was on a team he didn't want to be with. And when his contract was up, he refused to fight. So when you see these people getting these big free agent contracts, all of them need to be thanking a Black man by the name of Curt Flood, because he's the reason they're able to do it. I yield the mic.
All right, yeah, definitely. So y'all subscribe to Bakari channel. I just put it in there. Tanzan, I'm about to put your channel in there. Make sure y'all subscribe to Tanzan. She be having, some of the, illest shows. So, Tanzan.
Thank you. Dear good podcast by Brother Bakari, and greetings, Brother Sankara. Yeah, it's been a very enlightening, even though it's still a bit saddening. Not a bit, but a lot. But I think that we have to, these things have to be put to light, because they may not be, the things that people want to hear. Sometimes people just want to be entertained, or, talk about, who's doing what with who, instead of what's happening to a whole lot of people, So, yeah, it's good that you bring these issues to light, and you tied them together very well, especially with that water thing, that, these people have water, but they don't want it, and yet they're denying other people access to the same. It's like somebody, who is not thirsty, who has their fill of water, and they're pouring water right in front of your face, and you're thirsty, and then in the desert. So it's a very cruel thing to do. But I hope that, they might take my humble suggestion into account, to get together to at least try to save a few people, so that not everybody is going to be in the same circumstances, especially, the way they say, for me, it's not save the children and the women, it's save the children first. So, I can't imagine how it is to just be a child and that's your daily reality. That's terrible. But, it's been good, to talk, to have this conversation. And yeah, thank you. I don't want to oh my goodness, I just brought myself down. Sorry. All right, well, it's been great. And have a kwaheri. It's goodbye. So go with blessings. Thank you. Asante. Yes, kwaheri.
Kwaheri. Asante. I appreciate you coming on here, Tanzan, for real. Like, I appreciate what you said. Like, yeah, that's definitely good suggestions, especially when it comes to the water thing. So, yeah, that's what we got to do, put our minds together and come up with something. So I appreciate it. Sankar, do you got a channel, Sankar?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so let me put it in the chat. All right, but yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the water situation, it's unfortunate. It's just a continuation of the results of us not pulling together our resources and for years and years, and relying on just being comfortable, being dependent on going to stores and getting these water bottles from the powers that be or whatever, and not having anything on our own. And we've been tricked into thinking the movement is a social movement instead of an economic and a movement for resources, struggle for resources. It'd be nice if we could have had like farmers get together and maybe have some wells or something, and where we can have a way to produce our own water. That way, that would have been able to combat these type of problems if we had a way to control our water on our own, or have some type of resources that we produce on our own as an alternative. So it'd be nice to see that. Maybe this will bring about more of that. So I guess we'll see. So that's what I would like to see.
Yes, and let me say this, hopefully the sister, I didn't get in contact. She came on Bakari's show and she was like, she was trying to put together something for the people in Philadelphia. What she was like, something about filters, Bakari?
Yeah, she was talking about filters, some type of filters, yeah.
Yeah, so like, like even just helping support stuff like that. And hopefully I can get the sister on there. But that's why I wanted to talk about this, because there are different things that we can do. It's just about putting the action in and helping as many people as we can. Like, maybe you don't have to solve all of the issues. Maybe you can come up with something that's a mass solution, right? Maybe it's a certain type of filter that you can just put on, your faucet, or maybe just like your water pump or something, what I'm saying, that could clean your water. There's more than one way to solve it, but the only way to solve it is to put the issues out there and to deal with it. So I want to thank all of y'all for coming on here. Shouts out to Bakari. Shouts out to you, Tanzan. I appreciate you coming on here. Shouts out to Sankar. I appreciate you coming on here. Make sure y'all subscribe to all of their channels. They all put out, you know what I'm saying, good content. And Bakari, I haven't checked out much Sankar. Bakari be telling me about your channel, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's been a minute, but I'm gonna do some content at some point. You know.
Yeah.
I haven't put any out in a while, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and
It's
Tanzan, I
been
know
busy.
you. And Tanzan, I know you've been doing kind of busy, and you've been kind of, you know, I've been still checking out the lives though when they go up. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I finally did this week. I was getting all lazy. Yeah. Or you know, overwhelmed, because sometimes, you know, you have a lot of stuff that you want to work on, and then, you know, you don't get to finish them all, and then you just put everything, you know, on the shelf for a while. So yeah, but yeah, it's been great, and thank you, and have a lovely night. Kwaherini. Kwaherini now, it's goodbye all. So kwaherini.
All right, yeah. All right, clearly. All right, so all right, what I'm gonna do, y'all, and again, I thank y'all to appreciation. And by the way, shouts out to Raw, Real Black Gentleman, Bawana. Hey, Bawana, you better show up for Bakari. Show them all. Y'all ran on the Jack Johnson thing last time too, by the way, but we'll go back to baseball with Bakari. Shouts out to Erica, Cassidra. I don't know who that Jackson Law dude is, but whatever. But shouts out to all of y'all who Koku was in the building. Bobby Wright, shouts out to him. And Matron was in the building. Shouts out to Matron. Shouts out to Brother Roy. Oh, it's been a minute. Shouts out to my brother Brandon Baxter. So yeah, shouts out to all of y'all. And I'm gonna let this be the last word because I know I've been pissing y'all off a lot. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be my last word for y'all. Because I know I'm gonna be on trial next time. But shouts out to Erica. Hopefully we'll be back on with Erica next time. But this is my last words to y'all.
I stick by it. I call you a handkerchief head Negro. I call him a handkerchief head Negro. And I'm sticking with it. Google it. You got words like gaslighting, handkerchief head Negro. All that's in the dictionary now. You just outdated.
Point of information. Through you to the speaker, do you know my name is Quincy Murphy or Councilman Murphy or Third Ward or Mr. Murphy? Not handkerchief, Negro, or none of those words.
I view you as a handkerchief head Negro. I don't know how you view
point
yourself.
Of information.
What's your
you to
point?
the speaker, my name is Councilman Murphy, Mr. Murphy, or Third Ward Councilman. Them three. No, we ain't using adjectives or we ain't using those other words. And all due respect to you, I'm asking you, and I'm asking my colleagues to my name is Councilman-elect Quincy Murphy. Nothing else. I don't want to be called by anything else.
Man, that Third Ward gonna look pretty much the same from the time you got there to the time you left. Y'all ain't doing all of that, but your ego got you thinking you are. That's usually how handkerchief head Negroes act and talk to other Negroes. I'm gonna talk about it. They used to call him Uncle Tom.
Go ahead. Mr. Mays, please refrain from referring to your colleagues as derogatory names.
This is an appeal on me calling y'all handkerchief head Negroes. And so I'm gonna talk about handkerchief head Negroes in the appeal, win, lose, or draw. That's what this appeal is about. I call you and him a handkerchief head Negro. Now y'all don't want me to say handkerchief head Negro in the appeal. What he want me to say? Mr. Murphy, handkerchief head Negro. Councilman Murphy, handkerchief head Negro. Quincy Murphy, handkerchief head Negro. I know your name the whole time. Giving speeches. We're not going to be able to get no work done until we get him out of there. He's a disgrace. And you think I'm going to sit here and applaud you? You're a handkerchief head Negro.
Right. So I know you're saying that your name is Jack's Law, but to me, it's some handkerchief head Negro stuff going on here. That's all I'm saying. Jack's Law, handkerchief head Negro. You know what I'm saying? but the well has been poisoned, so I understand where the handkerchief head Negroes come from, drinking that dirty water. They've been drinking tap water too much, and that's why it's time for us to start purifying and clearing our water out. Even if you just make a purifying system, anything you do, monetize it, you know what I'm saying, and do something to help yourself and to help the community and all of that stuff, man. Don't let them keep poisoning our well. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.